Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here today for Neishloss & Fleming's 2021 Insight Market Training. I know it's not quite the same, not seeing our agents face to face, but we're so happy that you could come out here and we can come to you live from our marketing studio right here in Pittsburgh. My name is Joshua Smith. I'm the agency director here at Neishloss & Fleming. I work with our top level agents and agencies to assist their recruitment, marketing, and sales support. Today we'll be reviewing Hartford, Connecticut and what we can expect to see from the market in 2021. So what can I say about Hartford? It's a Medicare Advantage town through and through. You've got one of the highest market penetrations in the United States right now, sitting at 41.3%, and that's incredibly huge. To give you some perspective on that, I did a market overview on Indianapolis earlier. By and large, one of our most important markets. But even there, they're only sitting at around 23% penetration rate. Granted, Connecticut offers very unique rules and guidance when it comes to Medicare and what you're able to offer as far as Medicare supplements without having to worry about the underwriting. But the MA plans really need to bring something extra to the table here, and that's what we've seen happen. Hartford is a market that's proven to have some of the richest Medicare Advantage benefits in the US. You've got an incredible $0 premium, low premium, and even high premium products. But let's face it, the true driver in the market really isn't premium. It's the value adds that you see that can make or break the carriers here. So I'm going through some of the numbers here, and we're looking at a whopping 743,316 Medicare eligibles in Connecticut. 185,000 of them are dual eligibles for both Medicare and Medicaid. When we look year over year, eligible growth we're seeing at relatively low at 3.9%, but you've got a ton of clients that are still moving into the Medicare Advantage. That membership enrollment grew over 10% last year. Again, this is a value-driven market to eligibles that know and understand their benefits, and they're not afraid to shop around. You're going to need all the tools at your disposal to have a successful AEP this year. Luckily, we and our agency partners in Connecticut like Merit, we've got your back. So let's talk about today's insight. We're looking to bring you some valuable information and glimpse into where Hartford currently is and where it's going to be for Medicare Advantage sales. Today's insight will include discussion on the Medicare Advantage dynamics of Hartford. That will include who the major players are and what the overall market looks like. We'll then talk through what happened last AEP. We're going to review some of the top carriers and plans in the marketplace, comparing overall membership versus growth in the market as well. From there, we'll want to pinpoint some key changes in the market for this coming AEP, and we'll also give you some of the plans that we think that are going to be standing out this year. And then finally, we'll wrap things up with some closing thoughts on how to capitalize on the market. So the MA market dynamics. When we think about Hartford and we think about the rest of Connecticut, what's really going on in the MA space? When I think about Connecticut, I think about a savvy market when it comes to their Medicare benefits. Your clients know what value is and when they see it, because they've got some of the best plans in the nation. One thing I'm noticing with that is when you're playing with some of the best benefits, you're going to see some of the best names in the business. For Connecticut and Hartford, you're really leaning towards the national carriers to find homes for your clients. Carriers like United Healthcare, Anthem, and Aetna all play major roles in your market and are enjoying some very healthy growth. Close behind them, you got your strong local player with Connecticut. They've also been fortunate enough to see stability in this highly competitive market. And it's important to have that distinction between growth and stability though. When you're looking at these national carriers, you'll see in just a little bit, virtually all of them are growing at a much faster rate than the local Connecticut plans. And that's not to say Connecticut isn't worth talking about. You know, they're a very important part of your portfolio and there's plenty of room for them in the environment. However, their market share isn't growing at nearly the rate needed to be a major player. Again, virtually all of the national carriers have been growing in the Medicare Advantage space. So what happened in 2020? Let's see how everything shook out from the carriers' last AEP. Here we have our top carriers in the area based on their Medicare Advantage sales. This data is a comparison between April 1st, 2019 and April 1st, 2020, which showcases the AEP and OEP timeframe differences. As I mentioned earlier, you can absolutely see that the market is by and large going with the national carriers. And while Connecticut is stable, they're growing at a much smaller rate than the competition. And that's not the position that they want to be in right now, as Anthem is literally chomping at the bit and gaining momentum and market share. But all these numbers truly pale in comparison to the gorilla in the room, United Healthcare. Jumping up 5,000 new enrollments might not be the strongest feat, but being able to do that as the current leader will still show how dominant they are, and the growth is something that the agents should take notice of. They've managed to capture the attention of Medicare market with the competitive benefits, sales support, and customer service. There's a ton of opportunity with United Healthcare right now, and that's going to continue to grow throughout 2021. Next, we have Aetna, which showed tremendous growth in the market this year. They jumped up nearly 15,000 members, the largest growth of any of these carriers, even enough to easily clear Connecticut as number 2. They're definitely a carrier that should be capturing your attention right now. Anthem will round off the final 4. Still very competitive in their own way. Plenty of folks have found a great fit with them, especially in the med supp market, which isn't included in these slides, but we'll get to them a little bit later. And I think that we'll see some additional growth this year with Anthem, and again, we'll get into some of their Medicare Advantage plans later on. But at the end of the day, when you do your due diligence as an insurance agent and check your drugs and check the docs, you're going to find a fit for any of these carriers. And remember, when you're looking up those doctors and when you're looking up those drugs, nothing makes your life easier than our online enrollment software with Medicare Center. Make sure that your agents know how to use it and know what the benefit of it is and how much time that everyone can save when they're using these platforms. So let's take a deeper look into United Healthcare. Here we can see some incredible numbers in regards to a few of their key plans. First, you have the AARP Medicare Advantage Plan 2. That's the $29 HMO. It's the market leader in Connecticut, but potentially not for long. As you can see, it did drop in membership year over year. But where they lost in this plan, other plans gained some momentum, notably the Plan 3 HMO, but more particularly the $0 Walgreens plan, which is a new product that we saw just a ton of growth in the market in. This type of landscape is something that we do see trending in a lot of other booming Medicare Advantage markets. You'll see that lead plan with that modest premium, usually anywhere between $18 and $30, and then trailing it will be some of the $0 plans. One thing we don't typically see across the board is the higher end plans selling as well. And here you can see that the $99 Advantage Plan HMO. And though it lost some of its market share this year, it does prove that Connecticut has some of those high value plans, high premium plans, and that they will sell. So don't be afraid to offer these to any of your consumers. Aetna. Aetna's an interesting story for 2020. They've had an incredible growth year with their Medicare Elite PPO $0 plan, but everything else kind of fell flat or maybe a little bit worse. So let's focus on this PPO. Let's talk about it for a little bit. In a market where the top 2 $0 PPOs, that's the Aetna plan and the aforementioned United Healthcare Walgreens plan, they battled it out. But Aetna took the lion's share of the new clients. And why is that? It's not because they're necessarily better on line items. In fact, United Healthcare is basically right with them. It took me a little while to really figure out why Aetna had so much new growth. But the difference between United Healthcare and Aetna this year is really how the plans are built. And here's the difference. Both these plans have $1,000 deductibles. However, the difference that any savvy insurance agent will tell you is that Aetna has a lot more items that simply don't count towards those deductibles. And I don't have quite the time here, but give me a call sometime else and we'll be happy to chat about their evidence of coverage. But again, less things that are counted towards the deductible, plus they do have a dental allowance with Aetna that can be used virtually anywhere. No networks, and you get that 50% reimbursements. When we're talking about Anthem now, we're talking about a company that is slowly showing more teeth in the Medicare Advantage market. Last year was a mixed bag for them, slight downs, slight ups, mostly flat. Nothing too interesting here to talk about except that the MediBlue Select HMO is still a viable option for a ton of seniors out there. And in an environment where you've got a strong $0 plan, you'll see the carriers try to make some swings towards bringing some higher premiums to the table. Expect to see some more growth here from Anthem in 2021. So what happened in AEP 2021 when it comes to plan membership? Let's take a look at the top 3 plans by that membership, and it's no surprise to see that this is absolutely dominated by 2 of the major carriers, Aetna and United Healthcare. It's been a wild ride for Aetna again, as they stepped out of United Healthcare's shadow to really bring a strong plan to the market and outcompete United Healthcare. Having the number 1 plan isn't where they plan on stopping. In fact, they're going to keep continuing to bring additional benefits and strength to the rest of their plans. United Healthcare, again, also going to be looking to make some additional movement to win back these clients that they potentially lost over to Aetna, but they lost some on the plan too. So even if they did lose some on the plan 2, they gained someone back on the plan 3, but they definitely want to reposition themselves for the next season coming up. And here we see the top 3 plans by growth and where they were last year and what they look like for 2021. Again, we see the sheer dominance of the Aetna Elite PPO, boasting nearly 11,000 new members onto that plan. We're also seeing Connecticut for the first time in a long time, with the top plan growing for their Choice Plan 3 at 10,000 members. And then finally, we'll wrap things up with the Walgreens PPO. Again, this is something that can compete with Aetna and clearly has for 2020, but they've got some tweaking to do to make this plan even better for 2021. So now that we've seen the plans for 2020, what's going to happen in 2021? What are the key changes that are going to be taking place in the market? Well, first let's talk about United Healthcare. Strength, stability, and hassle-free is their motto, and they seem to be showcasing that right here in Connecticut. They've seen some stable benefits, even if they dropped off some membership on their top plans, but they've also gained a lot in that $0 PPO. Remember, there's a lot of room for growth there. And for 2021, you're not going to see them slip either. They've taken their plans, kept a ton of their line items the same, and are looking to entice new members with smaller key benefits. For their plans, they've rolled out their national network. So we've heard all about the passport system with United Healthcare, and that's where you call the carrier before the trip, and as soon as the person comes back from the trip, they have to call United Healthcare back to make sure that everyone's home safe and sound and they're reestablished in that network. This year, they're doing away with all that hassle. No more having to call before the trip, no more having to call during the trip, no more having to call after the trip. You just simply freely move about the US without having to worry about activating or deactivating your passport. So let's cross our fingers and hope that travel restrictions will loosen next year because that could be a huge benefit to the market. Additional items to mention that there are increased over-the-counter allowances and eyewear credits, plus lab copays are down to $0 across the board. Anthem is looking to make some rather strong changes next year, including their new PPO Select. This is going to have a slightly narrow network, but it will have a ton of great benefits for clients that are comfortable with that. And I'll get into the one-line items here in just a little bit. But they've also done some improvements for the dual special needs product as far as dental, vision, and essential extras. These essential extras, I just gotta say that they're some of the most impressive and thoughtful and well-liked benefits for any of the carriers that we work with. The ability to have someone come in to assist with home health care is an amazing offering. For instance, my mother-in-law, she's really not in the best shape right now. My father is a full-time caretaker. This is a benefit that can help folks in these types of situations, not just for the client, but for the potential caretaker. And I did some of the math, and it works out to be around 2 hours per week that you can have someone come out to the home and do some light housework. Those 2 hours are invaluable to someone in a caretaker role. Or you can pick the home daycare, 1 day per week up to 8 hours per day. Time that caretakers can keep for themselves and relax while their loved one gets a chance to be out and about as well. It's a tremendous benefit, and a lot of people are really excited about these from Anthem. Aetna is another story on stability. There's no major rollbacks with the benefits on line items. They did lower the PCP copay to $0 from the $5 on the PPO, so that's a good benefit. And I think that what Aetna is really trying to say here is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what Aetna's bringing to the table for next year. So those are some of the changes, or lack of changes for some carriers, but what are the plans to watch? What plans do you need to make sure that you're doing your homework on? The first one's going to be the United Healthcare Walgreens PPO. This plan did gangbusters in their first year in 2020, and I see them doing that again. Very strong, move from some of their costs down from specialists, bump some of the extra dental coverage, which includes some major procedures like root canals this year. They've also brought in the new MA only plan, that's called the Patriot, and that's going to be marketing to some of the veteran market share. That plan includes a $30 Part B give pack. It's going to be a strong focus on most of the carriers to these veteran groups out there. Next, we'll talk about Anthem. As I mentioned before, they've got a great opportunity with their new MediBlue Access Select. That's a huge service area, low premium at $24, and no in-network deductible. Don't forget that Anthem has some great Medicare supplement products that compare nicely with their 5-star PDP that's available. Aetna. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse on this one, but all I can say is that if you're working with Aetna, you're gonna wanna sell the Elite PPO. It's that $0 premium, the market leader for a reason. You've got everything that you're going to need with this plan right here to any of your consumers. Additional things that I want you to keep in mind, and I already touched a little bit on this, but the dual special needs plans are available. Keep an eye out on these opportunities because these carriers love to support their writing agents. If you're looking to get into the dual special needs market or simply add fuel onto the fire for your current sales, please let us know. Let the carriers know, let our agency partners know, let anyone know. We're all here to support you. These carriers see so much growth and so much opportunity in this market for their agents. If you put in the work, you can get nearly limitless opportunity from it. Also remember, grassroots marketing is still happening in this COVID-19 environment. Agents are partnering with local libraries, community centers, senior high-rises to provide Medicare 101 calls and webinars to folks that are asking for it. These local communities are starved for something to do. They need something to keep them occupied. All I want you to do is reach out to your local community leaders, let them know that you can assist with their clients, patrons, members, tenants. Be as active as possible because if you're not, someone else is gonna be. Don't leave money on the table this AEP. Thanks so much for your time today. Only one more slide left and I promise I'll get out of your hair, but we got some closing thoughts for the Hartford market. Remember, drugs and doctors will dictate movement this AEP, and almost any AEP. Have a game plan to reach your current clients as well as any new ones as we head into this AEP season. Everything that we went over today doesn't actually matter unless you're getting out in front of your current clients this year. If you need support, if you don't know how to market in this environment, please let us know. We've got so many tools and so many resources at our disposal to assist agencies' efforts this year. There's not a whole lot of disruption going on right now, but people are bored and they're going to be shopping, so you need to stay in front of your clients. Last but not least, become familiar with Medicare Center. It will be invaluable to assist your business growth. Whether you've got 10 clients or 1,000, it has the potential to save you so much time and effort this year. That's all for me for today. I want to thank you all so much for checking this out. I greatly appreciate your time. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We're all here to support you and your clients. Your relationship and partnership truly matters to each and every one of us here at Knight, Schloss & Fleming. Thanks again and have a great rest of your day.